Hi folks, welcome back to MultifamilyGeeks.com. My name is Max. Tonight I want to go over another underwriting video. We already started one prior. It's called How to Underwrite. In fact, let's see what the title is. It looks something like this. How to Underwrite Multifamily Properties 01, MultifamilyGeeks.com. Free underwriting template. That's the one we're going to use in the video. We're going to do a video number 2 here. So first things first, go ahead and go to MultifamilyGeeks.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. You'll see a couple things. You'll see investment criteria. You'll see this is the one we're looking for here, Multifamily Geeks Portfolio Trainer Underwriting Template Download. Excuse me. Here's some instructions. Click to open. We're going to click File, Download, and we're going to click Excel Spreadsheet Format, and that'll download it to our device. There's also underwriting standards here, and there's also a link to the first in the series of our underwriting training videos. Okay, with that said, so what we do is click on this and it opens like this. Takes a few seconds here to load. All right, and that looks like it. Now we're going to go File, Download, Microsoft Excel. That'll put the download right here on our taskbar. Okay. And now when we click, a download file folder, just look at downloads right here. That'll be the one on top right here, 00 MFG stands for Multifamily Geeks Portfolio Trainer. This is beta version 2.2, right? And by the time you download this, it's going to be a much higher version. Don't worry about that. You want the latest one, okay? So now let's go back and go into one of our, so this is a Google Drive we use to share our properties and underwrite together as teams, right? We try to sponsor students who are looking for deals. And we also do sponsorship student underwriting teams, up to 5 people, where they'll share a folder, and some will call brokers, some will underwrite, and then we meet once a week to discuss them. So that's this kind of format. Well, right now we've downloaded that new template. Now we're going to go New and say Upload, and we're going to upload that template into this Google Drive. There it is right there, right on top. You can see it downloading here. Okay, so that shows up down here as 00, and what we would do is go ahead and rename it. We would say rename, and we would put probably our name on it. I would say like Max. I would say what property this is. This is a Georgia portfolio, right? Whatever I'm going to name it, and that would make this template now for the purpose of this property. Now we already did that on the last video, and we already put one of the properties into it. So we're going to open that one back up again, and we're going to continue with that one by putting a second property into it. And by the time you look at this template, it'll be slightly different, you guys. These things they always seem to be morphing and changing. Actually, let me make sure I'm in a different account here, just to make sure I have full access. Let me make sure I'm in the Multifamily Geeks account. There we go. Probably everything's shared with my other Gmail, but that's okay. Let's just make sure I'm in there. So here's the first property we did in the prior video. We did property 1 and property 1 T12, right? And what I might actually do is I might start to say rename. It's going a little slow, says it's still loading. Okay, I might call this Tanglewood. Okay, and then what we did was we went ahead and modified the T12. And this is Tanglewood's T12. Right, so I copy and pasted that T12, and we're going to do the same procedure now with property number 2. So property number 2 is blank right now. And the advantage of this portfolio trainer is it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 properties and then a combined underwriting template. The combined just takes all the properties. We're going to do 2 here, right? It's a lot of times you go to the broker and they've got portfolios. Well, what if you could buy both of those in a syndication, fix up 1 and 2 years, sell it, pay off your investors, and pour the rest of the money into the mortgage of the second property and hold it a little bit longer? You can satisfy 2 types of investors. One is a short-term cash flow investor, and the other is a long-term buy and hold investor. So there's a lot of investors that come to us and say, I want as little money out of this property as possible. In fact, if you can give me no distributions, I'd be happy. They don't want to pay, they're already paying capital gains taxes on whatever else, right? They don't want to pay any kind of taxes on, they have enough income. Let's put it that way. There's plenty of investors in that situation. That's the point of investing, right? So those would be called buy and hold investors, and the others are cash flow investors because they'd rather have, they need a monthly, or we pay quarterly, actually, a quarterly income from investments. So we'll prioritize depending on the needs of the investor. Anyhow, that's the point of why you would want to possibly consider a portfolio of properties, which could be, in this case, up to 5 properties, and they can be quite large. We'll see what we're doing here. This first one was 159 units. Go back and watch that video on processing the T12. We're going to repeat a lot of it right here in doing the second property. Second property, let's go ahead and open the T12. This looks like it here. Just check really quickly. All right, let's go ahead and open this. This is the T12 of the second property. Now, I don't like any of this formatting. All this bothers me, but don't mess with the original. Good etiquette to leave this alone so that other people who are underwriting this property too on the team can go ahead and access the original. All right, sorry for the delays, you guys. Seems to be taking its good old sweet time. Apologize for that. So go up to the gray box here. We talked about this last time. That's the select all cell right there. Select everything. I'm going to say right click, copy. Go into my template. Now I'm on property number 2. So I'm going to put this T12 next to property number 2. So let's say plus. That's going to add a tab. I'm going to go up here and paste it. Whoops, and I should have showed you. I just did Control V right there. Sorry, you guys. I should have right-clicked and said paste so you could see it. Apologize for that. Everything's running slow tonight, I guess. Okay, there we go. I'm going to do 3 things here. One is Control / and Google this if you don't know it. Oh, I know what to do. You go up here. It's formatting. Can I find it? Here, clear formatting. Here, Control +/. You're going to do this, clear formatting, right? Everything removes. It goes to the default font, which for me is Arial right here. You can set yours what you want. I'm going to shrink. The second thing I'm going to do is shrink the font size down to 8 because I want to squeeze this into as small a package as I can so I can see it all. And the third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize the number of decimal places. So this has got, $64,320.33, you guys. I do not want to see those 33 cents. I want to remove a 0, remove a 0. What I mean by that is remove a decimal place, remove a decimal place. Okay, so now all I see are the numbers rounded up to the nearest dollar. That's plenty of accuracy for us. Then I'm going to take my months. Well, first let's squeeze in 3 columns right here. I'm going to say insert 3 to the left. So I squeezed in 3 new columns. I'm going to move the total column. I'm going to say cut and move that right in here to B. Okay. This gives me the name of the account and the amount of the total for the year next to each other. So my I does not have to go all the way across. Now I do like to clean this up a little. Shrink those all down. And I do like to count them, like I said in my prior videos, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 12 months. And I told you the story. I underwrote with 13 months. I don't know if the broker did that on purpose to me, but I should have caught it anyway. It's not the broker's fault. That was my fault, all right? So, yeah, I underwrote with 13 months, and of course the numbers looked great, right? So I had to go back and re-underwrite it with only 12 months. So now I just count it, and I'm paranoid about it. And I apologize for that, but all of us sort of have those idiosyncrasies where we underwrite a certain way because of our past experiences. Now I like to insert these checkboxes. And I don't need this column that big either. I can shrink this down. And now I can start to look at what I'm going to put into my underwriting template. All right, so rental income, this could be a GPR or it could be a gross scheduled rent. GPR is gross potential rent, or it could be a gross scheduled rent. All right, slow this down a little bit if you don't know the difference. Potential would just be the maximum you can get. I'm going to put my own gross potential rent in, so I don't really care what the seller's saying it is. I'm going to go for my own and determine my own market rents. So, but I'm going to start somewhere. This is weird like the prior property. In fact, let's go ahead and just say, just verify I'm in the right one here. Yes, I am. This one's called North Lake. So let's go ahead and name, just so I don't start getting mixed up. Let's say rename. Property number 2 is North Lake. This sheet 2, I'm going to rename. This is North Lake T12. So as I start clicking between these tabs, I want to make sure my eye is catching the right thing. I'm going to copy this checkbox, and I want to see my effective. I know I've got that on my spreadsheet. I want to see additional income all the way down here. I want to see what that is. I might look for, sometimes they'll mix in additional income. Sometimes they'll put rubs in here. If that is, I want to separate that out. I don't see anything very large in here, so I don't really see rubs yet. It might be down below. I want to see gross operating income. I want to make sure I match up with that in terms of the seller's numbers. Here's their property taxes, very important to me. I like to take this center column and make sure everything's centered in it because I'm going to put some comments and things I want to pop up. Property insurance. And a lot of people will do like a pre-worksheet. You know, they'll handwrite it or they'll type it. They'll go ahead and collect all these numbers. I just find it easier to do it right on the T12, but I'm not on the original, right? I made a copy, put it inside my underwriting. So when you check my underwriting or I send this to you to sponsor my deal, which is what students are doing for us, right? At Multifamily Geeks, we want to sponsor your first or next deal. So we're looking at your spreadsheets every day where you send us things going, here's the underwriting, I think this is a deal. And if you can include your T12 like this, it makes it where I can see everything in one file. I don't have to download multiple files, etc. Right? And I think maybe you can see the brilliance of this. And believe me when I say that the day is coming when you're going to be looking at other people's underwriting and you're going to be sponsoring deals. You're going to move up through this business and you're going to become a sponsor also at some point. So just get used to what you think should be done in terms of underwriting because you're going to have to tell people, here's how I'd like to, you to underwrite so that I can read this thing, right? Let's get rid of this. This is debt service. I just went through all the different ones. I'll reiterate it as we plug it in. Let's see, net income. Mine's going to be a little bit different because I do not back in and out these cap reserves. I leave them in. I want them in my spreadsheet and I want my return calculated after that. I'll show you that too when we get to it. So now that I've got these check boxes in here, let's start to go back and forth to the spreadsheet. This says rental income, $792. And before we get to this, let's also pull up All right, well, I don't know why I can't seem to download this and open it, but I'm struggling. Let's try it one more time. It says PDF. Why does it keep opening that spreadsheet? It's not one thing, it's another, right? That's what we say. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. It keeps jumping to that spreadsheet right there. Anyway, let's just do it right on the screen here, okay? So this one's North Lake, 115 units, 87,150. Let's close this now. $115 units. I think I said 87, 150. Let me click back and forth and check all that. No, 87,309. Sorry. There we go. And oh, 87,150. You guys, I got to concentrate a little bit here. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so all right. 87,150, 115 units. Here's the address. And I like to clean this up a little bit. 310 North Lake Drive, Warner Robins, Georgia, 31093. Okay, let me get rid of this. There we go. And there we go. All right, a little bit happier with that. I do know that they want 60-ish a door on this. I think that's about... That's probably too much. Oh, let's leave it at that for the moment. Okay. Now we're ready to go back and forth with our tab. Here's my first one, 792,660. Let's check my vacancy. This is like the other property we did in this portfolio. I feel like this is an adjusted T12 because they're not showing us the real vacancy numbers here. I'm not sure if this is an after vacancy number or it's not there. So these would be big questions to ask. They actually have a HUD income, so they actually have a higher income here. Now I'm remember the other property. Let's add these up. So I'm going to switch this to a 798,590. Watch that prior video if you want to see more about why this is happening, but I don't see vacancy numbers here, right? This is not possible. And then they have concessions as a positive, which for me I got to put in as a negative because mine's subtracted out, and they have it subtracted here when normally it's subtracted, so it's actually being added. So 7,628. Let me just click back to Tanglewood and see what I did over there. Vacancy was strange there. It was a negative number, and then concessions. No, I might be wrong about this. This might be 7,628. Yeah, maybe it is subtracted. Let's see if it matches. 790,962. There we go. It is subtracted out. So that's right. That's done right. And I included it, so I'm going to copy this. But what I don't see is vacancy going on here. So I have to put a contingency into my numbers when I get to those to take into account vacancy. And it's got to be, in this day right now, we're in the middle of COVID, it's got to be at least 15%. It's got to be at least 10% vacancy and something big on concessions, 2 to 5%. Right? And that's just the sign of the times. It's going to be completely different by the time you watch this. But that's what it is for the moment. Now we've got here additional income. Sometimes they will vary. I said I looked already. I'm going to look again for that. I do not see rubs in here. I don't see any large numbers of recollections on any kind of utilities. So I'm going to go straight with 5928 for additional income. 5928 and 841,890. 5928 and 841,890. Check, check, check. So these are the seller's numbers I'm putting in. I want to make sure that I represent exactly what they're telling me at the moment, right? When I go back to the broker and say, where's the vacancy? He's going to explain to me what has happened to here, why it's not accounted for, all right? Property taxes, 59,011. Got it. Property insurance, 32,447. 32,447. Property management fee, 25,239. 25,239. Check. Payroll total 84,694. Don't like that number. If I buy these properties and I want to sell one off, I need to be able to have enough money in payroll to manage this thing. Wait, where am I right now? What did I just do? 84,694. That number confused me and I'm in the wrong. I'm in property 3. Let's go back to property 2. Yeah, I'm trying to do two things at once here. 89,694, and I can barely do one. The problem with, if you're going to sell one off, you've got to manage one property by itself. And 115 units is a little light on units because you'd like 200 to 300 so you can have a full team on site. You're still going to have to cough up about 120,000. So this is, when I get to my payroll, I'm going to have about 120,000. Why? I need about 75,000, including benefits for a property manager, and I need about 35,000. No, make that 45,000 for a maintenance person, including benefits. 120,000 about. So if this is 1,200, that's a little high. Okay, let's go 1,100. 126. That's more like the payroll it's going to take to manage this by itself, and I have to include that because my strategy is to sell off the first one and keep the second one. I like this one a little bit better. This North Lake property I like a little bit better because of its age. It's a younger property, so I would fix up and sell off the older property first. And when I say fix up and sell off, we're talking about 2 years, right? And keep this one the full 5 to 7 years of the syndication hold. And we're just going to like it better. It's going to be easier to run. Just by then we'll be cash flowing. Everything will be nice, and we have something to just float us through until we sell the property and cash out. So that's payroll, and that just bugged me right there. That's why I couldn't concentrate, right? So let's go to repairs and maintenance, 42. And here too, look, grounds and pest control. They are convoluting their categories. So grounds and pest control is contract services to me. So I'd rather put this into contract services because I want to compare it up with my standard numbers. 16,292. Oh, I have separate places. I can do 3390 for pest control. And I can do 12,902 for grounds. Well, I don't believe that. We look at the acreage on this sucker. Look, it's 15 acres on North Lake. I don't think you're cutting the grass on 15 acres for 12,902. Now maybe you're not cutting every blade of grass on there, but that could be higher. That's only $100 per unit, right? That's probably a little bit low. Anyway, see, I get distracted as I'm going through this because I start to do the second part of the work before I'm done with the first. Now, this is maintenance and repairs. I'm going to take this number and subtract out the contract services so I don't go double count them. Let's make another checkbox here so I can keep myself honest. Let's check off this one. Now we're going to do 25,782. Check. All right, utilities. Looks like we're paying 41,883. Not too bad. They must be paying some part of their utilities themselves. Electric, trash. Wow. They're paying their own water. That's kind of unusual if they have their own water meters. But look how low water is. And this looks like these utilities kind of look like just general common areas. So these units might be separately billed for utilities. I like that a lot. Landlords love that a lot because now the responsibility is on the tenant. And of course, if the tenant pays their own utilities, they use less utilities. It's a greener building when tenants are responsible for their own usage. Okay, so what's this? Admin, sponsor charity, co-star, marketing. All right, looks like admin 15,952. All right, check. Marketing 7077. 7077. $62 a unit, a little bit low. Operating expenses is 308,378. Well, look at that. First time through, I entered them all in because I've got 308,377. All right, so not 78, but I'm within $1. Again, let's call it a rounding error. All right. Now they don't have make readies. That bothers me. Contract services is light for sure because look, they've only got about $200 on contract services, and probably you need $400. All right, so I'm just going to add in probably 400 over here and neglect these two because they're 200 light anyway. I feel they're missing something. They're, you know, security, or it's buried in one of the others, and I can't really find it in this quick overview. I didn't see it though. So, and I don't like. They've only got 224 for repairs and maintenance. I think on this age property you're going to need 450. They don't have any make readies. I think you're going to need 200 for make readies. I think you're going to need 23,000 a year in make readies. It's not that much money to just fix up units as you're rolling through to change them out from one tenant to another. Painting, carpet cleaning, all that kind of stuff is make ready. Again, with the vacancy, that's a problem. Now, let's see what the OM says right here. Offering, moderate, synergies, excellent, minutes, robust. What's my strategy? They're going to help me out with a value add strategy. They're going to tell me if I spend $3,500 per unit, I can raise 100 to 150. You're going to have to verify this because we never trust brokers on these numbers. Sometimes they're pretty good. I don't want to talk down about brokers because they do a good job. But at the same time, this is my underwriting for my purchase. I'm not going to trust them. But let's say I've spent $3,500 on 115 units. That's $402,500 I got to put into my raise. So right now my raise stands at $4,532,000. I've got a 35% loan down. Maybe I can get away with 30%. Maybe I can get away with 4% right now on a loan interest rate, 30 years. So let's see, debt service of 320. Let's go up here and say we're going to raise rents $100. Okay, on 115 units. So my formula, this spreadsheet takes their gross scheduled rents and says, let's say they're getting what they're getting and we can get it too, all right? Now, if I fix up all those units, and this spreadsheet is very simple, it's assuming you did all the repairs of 100, all the upgrades of 115 units in 1 year. You know it's not accurate, but we're just trying to get a rough underwriting of this right now. If we like this property, we're going to dump it into our more advanced spreadsheet, which looks like this. right? This is our full underwriting. We're going to go and do a 5-year pro forma on it, which looks like this, right? And now we're going to ask ourselves, what's the annual return on this property all the way down for as many years as we think we're going to hold it? We can put it in the number of years. We can say 7, check at 6, and check at 5, and check it and see where the best return is. And we'll schedule in how many of those repairs we're going to make per year, how many of the turns, as the units turn, we're going to try to renovate them, right? So let's go back to where we were. All right, but for now, this is our gross scheduled rent, our gross potential rent in this case. We're going to drop it in here. We do have a problem right there. This is going to kill this underwriting. I think we're going to have some sort of 10% vacancy. Right now, we're combining physical and economic because it doesn't matter in a way right now. It doesn't. Concessions may be a little high at 5, maybe you say 3, but you better be conservative right here because we just don't know what's going on with this. So we're going to include their other income. We're going to get back up to 865, which is not much more than they're telling us now. Why? Because we don't trust the vacancy. So that's going to kill this underwriting right now. Hey, look, 0.5% cash on cash return. There's barely any returns right here. Even if we switch it to interest only, we jump up to a 3% cash on cash. Oh, I'm getting somewhere. What if we only pay 60 a door? Let's do 7, 5. 3.5% cash on cash. I think the seller wants 60. Let's do a 7 million. Nope, I can't type 6 zeros. Come on. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. All right, that's it. 60 a door. Pretty good. 4.2%. You know, nowadays we'd like to see at least a 3 cash on cash, and man, are we going skinny on that when we do these days. Let's check our taxes. We calculated it for this one. We did 40% and we did 0.033212. All right. Now that tames it a little bit. 3.6. So 350 on insurance, we're a little high. Okay, fine. Let's say it's 300. We already talked about payroll. Repairs and maintenance, I'd rather leave, make ready. General and admin, 250 a door, I'd rather leave. My number isn't that far off, I guess. I find it hard to believe they're only spending $25,000 on management, but let's say 4%, that gets closer to their 3. Compromise a little here. Utilities will pay what they pay. Marketing, we have to do 100 a door. Sorry, you got to market these things. Let's see, contract services, we already said we'd go to 400, but not include their numbers. So, boom, 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 interest only 3.9. Well, nothing great at the moment, so nothing is, getting me really excited here, but that's basically what we're talking about. Now, let's just go on with the exercise of the training video, right? Let's go, now we have 2 properties into our 5-property portfolio underwriting template. Let's go to combined. So 514, when you watch this, it won't be that year. Portfolio name. There's a generic name for you. Now it's going to take the units, and notice it takes all the different templates that we're using, up to 5 properties, and just combines them. So now we're looking at a 274 unit portfolio. Our combined price is $15 million. Our combined square feet is going on here. Our combined gross potential rents. Here's the seller's combined numbers, right? They do seem to be at 4.1%. Still a little slim on this, and I'm not sure I actually typed in the mortgage on this last one. That might be a little bit better than that if I return to right here. The mortgage P&I. I'm wondering what theirs is, and they list it way down here. I kind of neglected to do all this. I got 308. Did I get my 553? Yes, 533. 533, good. Skip this. Principal and interest is here. Debt service, 206,871. Okay, a little bit cheaper. 206,871 is what they're paying. So they're getting an 7.8 on this one, this North Lake property. Not bad. Now let's go back to the combined underwriting template. And that's a little bit better, 4.1 combined. I know why they're trying to sell this as a portfolio. They want to get rid of that first property because it's a dog. Second one's nice. I like it. So let's adjust this. Let's say we were at 30% for the portfolio. Let's say we got that for 4.0, which is questionable, but maybe. Let's say we did interest only on this right here for the portfolio. We're at 3.4%. Here's the combined. We did not include any money, it looks like, on the first property. So the raise for both is $8 million. I might return to this one. Yeah, we did. We put $3,500 in per unit on both the properties. So combined makes sense. That's 3,500 times this 274 units. And it's about $1 million capex to do renovations. There's 500,000 in, I didn't even look at the parking lots. I'm assuming roofs are okay, which you won't. You're going to go back and look at all that. So this thing can only get worse as I start to look at this portfolio, right? But I'm going to definitely make sure my roofs are good, and that can be a big chunk of change. I'm going to make sure the signage, basic things. Does the clubhouse need to be refurbished? All that stuff needs to go in there. 25 grand for that, 25 grand for this, 25 grand for signage. I may need to do re-landscaping, 25 grand. I may need to do exterior painting. All that's got to go into this CapEx budget. And this is a rough underwriting. But rough underwriting says to me, 3.4%. I'm not happy given the price of this thing. Now, this links the price of the two properties prior. I can unlink it right here and just start to type over this. I may want to do an LOI at 14 million. Right? Just type over, because now I'm going to take over this spreadsheet and use the pricing on the combined property here. I don't need to add up the separate properties anymore. I can have separate prices for them separately. I may be willing to pay more for this one, right? I may be willing to pay 7 for this, but then this one at, 50 a door, I don't think so. I'd go a lot lower on this one. Okay, I can't get it to type. I can't to get me to type. There we go. What am I at? 44 a door, and I'm still only 3.9% cash on cash, right? So, that's how we do it. I'm just thinking about what I can cover before I go here. Basically explaining to you how to fill out the portfolio template. Basically explaining how to go ahead and massage those T12s, drop them in right next to the properties, keep the tabs in order. You saw me kind of click between them when I got a little bit lack of concentration. There's still 3 other properties sitting in there. You can do a portfolio of up to 5 properties on this template, and then by the time you go to the combined. Remember, there are training videos. There's a link somewhere in here. It's not on this one, but it will be on the template you download, and you can go back and see some of the templates on how to use, or some of the training videos on how to use this template. And then lastly, let's return to the MultifamilyGeeks.com. We as a company, we are looking for values match teams. We're definitely looking for values match students to sponsor. We want to sponsor your first or next deal. We're serious about our core values. We like team player, open, honest, transparent. We like humbly confident, no arrogance, no entitlement, facts over charisma. We like do what we say, be realistic, and be reliable. We like do what's right, and we think of that as considering all perspectives. And then continually growing, open to the idea that we could learn something new that could change our perspective. We always throw in that we're human, we're not perfect, but this is the foundational values that we keep trying to return to, and we try to work with you on under these terms. All right. So if you have a deal to submit, go on down. You'll find me for the deal desk. It's down here. It says, here's my phone number. Text me or call me, right? And we'll set up a shared folder. You can upload your underwriting and your template, and we'll upload ours. We'll underwrite it with you, and we'll see if it's a deal. If it is, definitely we're sharing GP with you. We have options where we can sign on the loan. That's what a sponsor does. And we can provide EMD, which is earnest money down. That's what a sponsor does too in certain cases. And here's some links to the actual portfolio. And we hope this helps you move forward in your journey with buying and selling, called syndication of multifamily properties. Hope this helps. Thanks, guys.